It's been a while since I did a video talking about Bill Cosby, but there has been some updates that have come from Bill Cosby since, well, that sham of a trial that happened, what was it, last year or 2 years ago? So he just basically gave, I guess you could say, his first interview since his trial. And in that interview, he said he expects to serve his full 10-year sentence rather than to say he is sorry. And you know what? I can't even be upset with him for that, because what does he have to apologize for? In my eyes, he did nothing wrong. I believe he was truly set up by this system, and they railroaded him, and this is what happened. They got their guy. And very unconstitutional, might I add. It says Bill Cosby legal team is readying a long shot bid to get his sexual assault conviction overturned. They're fighting civil lawsuits filed by some accusers that threaten to drain his vast fortune. That's really all it is. Now, at the beginning of it says corrections and clarifications. An earlier version of this report incorrectly characterized the contents of journalist Stacey Brown's audio recording and Brown's relationship with Bill Cosby. In the auto excerpt, Brown says, "You've got a lot of supporters out here. We did a story recently about your supporters." So, in his first prison interview, Bill Cosby spoke to an African-American oriented news site in a rambling lecture in which he claimed to be educating fellow prisoners, railed against the ruin of his TV legacy, and vowed to serve his full 10-year sentence for sex crime convictions rather than show remorse for crimes he says he did not commit. Cosby spoke to Stacey Brown, a correspondent for National Newspaper Publishers Association BlackPressUSA.com, by phone Sunday for an exclusive interview. According to Andrew Wyatt, Cosby's spokesman, since his two trials in 2017 and 2018. Brown's story included a 15-minute audio part of the interview, which lasted 45 minutes and came about after Cosby called Wyatt to talk on Sunday. The audio was hard to hear and was frequently interrupted by prison announcements and the prison rule against phone calls lasting more than 15 minutes. Cosby had to call back several times to complete the interview. Cosby is serving 3 to 10 years maximum in a state prison in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia, after a jury in Montgomery County last year convicted him of drugging and sexually assaulting a Temple University employee in 2004. Cosby has appealed his conviction, citing multiple alleged errors by the trial judge in his case. The appeal is pending before the state appeals court. Although it was not part of the audio, according to Brown's story, Cosby, age 82 and near blind, said he thinks it's unlikely he'll be released early. Wyatt, who was on the call, confirmed that's what Cosby told Brown. "I have 8 years and 9 months left," Cosby said, according to Brown. "When I come up for parole, they're not going to hear me say that I have remorse." Consequently, Brown wrote, Cosby anticipates serving his entire sentence because he will never admit to something he claims he didn't do. Displayed remorse is generally a required prerequisite to obtaining parole or a shortened sentence. Now, before I continue, like I said, I can't even knock Bill Cosby for that, because he didn't do it. Like, he's not going to sit there and admit to something he didn't do, even for a shortened sentence or for him to get out, because then that stain of him being a rapist is going to be on him if he says that. And it's all a trick. It's all trying to get him to say something that he knows is not true and further put a stain onto his legacy. Cosby has denied his guilt since his two trials. He now considers himself a political prisoner. He told Brown his trials were unjust and unfair, which he is correct. In the audio, Cosby also stood by his infamous 2004 pound cake speech, in which he criticized African Americans for behaviors he disapproves of. But he said he should not have suggested his criticism apply to all African Americans. The mistake I made in 2004 is making it sound like all the people were making the infractions, and that's not true, he is heard saying in the audio. That speech earned him disdain in the black community, in which in turn led to the deluge of sexual misconduct allegations that helped bring him down starting in the fall of 2014. Cosby, who has a doctorate in education, said he is continuing his mission as an educator by speaking at weekly man up prison sessions with fellow prisoners about striving for self-respect and dignity and putting family first. I'm not a psychiatrist and I'm not a psychologist. I am an educator. And what I look forward to is talking to this group of 400 or so men. Cosby is heard saying in the audio, well, I'm glad that they have Bill Cosby doing something while he's in prison, speaking to those guys, because at the end of the day, Bill Cosby is still a legend, and he's still held to a very high regard and a high esteem. And I'm sure some of those guys in that prison probably don't even believe the stuff that's going on against them, because I'm sure there were times when they were allowed to watch, they were possibly allowed to look at the trial while they had some downtime. So I'm glad that he has something to do while he's there, and that he's still, talking to these men. So it's like he's still following his purpose even while he's locked up. After the allegations against him began mounting, reruns of Cosby's successful TV shows mostly disappeared from TV screens, which was really messed up because that hurt the actors outside of Cosby. They hurt their residuals. Meanwhile, they slipped Seventh Heaven back on TV even after Stephen Collins came out and admitted that he was molesting little girls even while on set, and they never ever prosecuted him. He believed this is proof that people in power conspire to take away anything positive from the black community. When the Cosby Show came on with the Huxtables while it was running, other networks and even the media were doing jobs on trying to belittle whatever it represented. They did not like what the Cosby Show looked like for us. Now look at what has happened. They've taken away everything that I've done and swept it into a place where it would not be shown. Well, I'm glad that Bill Cosby is, it seems like he's doing well where he's at, which is a good thing, because a lot of people were worried what his health status would be, especially since he's definitely up in age. They say he's near blind. I'm sure he's going to always need assistance wherever he goes. He's probably on some type of medication. So he probably has some round-the-clock care. And I'm sure that he probably has a lot of people that are watching him. And you know what's so crazy? I'm sure a lot of the people that despise Bill Cosby for all the wrong reasons were probably banking that this guy is going through hell in prison right now. But based on what I'm hearing right now, it seems like he's doing well. The only thing that I did hear was when he first got into prison, I think they said that he had fell or something like that. And I'm sure the people that don't like him were probably laughing their asses off like they were the goddamn Joker and Batman. But other than that, it seems like he's faring off, and I'm glad that he's sticking to his guns and says, I'm not going to show any remorse. I'm not going to say I'm sorry, and I'm not going to admit to any guilt that I know is not mine to admit to. So good for him. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.